Good morning, children. Sai Ram. Welcome to the part 1 of Geography Chapter 5, that is water. I hope you all are very good, enjoying the session, and must be very excited to start with the second term portion, isn't it? And I hope you really have studied very well and you will get good marks in the first semester examination. So, now let us begin with this chapter of geography, that is water. So, children, what comes across your mind when we talk about water? I'm sure there are a lot of things that come across our mind, isn't it, children? Like for those who have recently gone to the villages and those who have got wells in the villages, so they might come across those few incidents where you all play in the water from the well, right? Or as it is rainy season or monsoon season currently, what comes across can be also the pitter patter of the rains, right? The drops that fall down and make the sound of pitter patter. Yes, that can also come across. What else? The water from your tap, isn't it? Every day mummy works, mummy cooks for everybody, so she needs water. So once she starts the tap, one can come across, like, one have that feeling of water splashing from the water, the tap. Or might be that you've gone somewhere, and uh, some beaches, and then water from the shore, on the shore, like splashing, isn't it? Or waterfalls, if you have gone to some hilly area, so the water that falls from the small hills or the mountains, the streams, right? What a wonderful view, isn't it? Water in any form, it makes us, very very excited, isn't it? So it makes us not only excited, but the blue color of the sea, the blue color of the water, makes us feel very calm, soothing, isn't it? Now, let us talk about the children who play in the rains. It is not only that the glow and the happiness on their face, makes us smile, but it also acts as a game for the small children to play. Now, how is that so? Children love to float paper boats in the rain puddles. If you have ever come across any child playing in the rainwater, in the rain puddles, they make a paper boat and play. But have you ever seen that by noon, okay, this water vanishes? So then where does this water go? Or during heavy rains, okay, where you can see some water, stagnant water outside your house, but after a period of time the water vanishes. So where does it go? Now let us start, or let us begin this chapter with understanding the concept of water cycle. Now children, water continuously changes its forms, okay, and it circulates between oceans, atmosphere and land. So what exactly happens? Due to the sun's rays, okay, the water that may be in the pool or lake, pond, or any kind of stagnant water, or maybe oceans, okay, these water, this water, okay, it evaporates. How? Due to the sun's rays, due to the scorching heat of the sun. So what exactly happens? The water evaporates and it rises up in the form of water vapor. Now, as this water vapor goes up, okay, it cools down. It goes up and it cools down. And what exactly happens is, this water vapor also carries along with it dust particles. Okay, so water vapor mixed with dust particles, okay, they rise up in the sky and eventually they cool down. So when it cools, it condenses and forms cloud. Now when such clouds are formed, okay, the water vapor which has got dust particles along with it, okay, becomes too heavy, and then it falls down in the form of rain, snow or sleet. This is water cycle. Now how does it becomes a water cycle? The water from the ocean, the pond, or for that matter any water on the earth, okay, it rises up because of the sun's rays or sun's heat, okay, it rises up in the form of vapor, cools down, condenses, and it comes down in the form of rain, snow or sleet, and again it flows into the sea or lake, okay, the streams flow into the ocean and all, and the same process continues over a period again and again. So this is called the water cycle. Look at this picture. There is a water which evaporates, condense and form cloud. Now these clouds which become too much heavy come down or precipitate in the form of rain. So when it falls on the hills or mountains, again it comes down and is collected in the pond or ocean or sea. Okay, this is the water cycle. So children, as I said, the process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between the atmosphere, oceans and land is known as water cycle. Okay, now children, our earth is actually like a terrarium. So what is a terrarium? A terrarium is usually a sealable glass container and it contains soil and plants, and it is opened only for the maintenance to access the plant inside. So what is it? It is actually an artificial enclosure for keeping small house plants. We all must be keeping, or maybe some of you might have small plants, indoor plants kept inside your house, isn't it? Yes. So this is the glass container in which small plants are planted. Okay, and it is a sealed container. So how does it work? The sealed container is combined with the heat entering the terrarium, and it allows for the creation of small scale water cycle. Okay, so what exactly happens? As I said, the sealed container combined with the heat entering the terrarium allows for the creation of small scale water cycle. Now this happens because the moisture from both the soil and the plants evaporates in the elevated temperature inside the terrarium. This water vapor then condenses on the walls of container and it eventually falls back to the plants and the soil below. Okay, so just like we get our rain, what happens is, because of the temperature inside it, okay, the moisture from the soil as well as plant evaporates and it condenses on the walls of the container and eventually it falls back into the plant. Okay, so our earth is just like a terrarium. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is distribution of water bodies, that is water distribution. So children, we all know that 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered by water, isn't it? So which means 97.3% of water is saline in ocean and seas. 3% is fresh water that contains or that consists of ice caps, groundwater, fresh water from lakes, then inland and salt lakes, etc. And 3% of water is that which is used by people in their daily lives. So when I say saline, okay, saline water, what does it mean? Salinity is the amount of salt in grams present in 1000 grams of water. The average salinity of oceans is 35 parts per thousands. So this is just for your information. Okay. So as discussed earlier, 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered by water. So if there is more water than land on this earth, why do so many countries face water scarcity? Why is it that countries are facing water scarcity? Now let us understand this with the help of a table. Okay, now look at this table. It gives us the distribution of water in percentage. The water that is present in ocean is 97.3%. Ice caps is 2%. Groundwater is 0.68. Freshwater lakes are 0.009. Inland seas and salt lakes makes to 0.009 again. Water present in atmosphere is 0.0019 and rivers is 0.0001. So if you see from ice caps to river, only this much quantity is the fresh water that is available to us, whereas 97.3% of water that is present in ocean is saline water, which means it is salty water. So the total amount or percentage of fresh water that is available to us is only approximately 3% that we can consume in our daily life. And it is because of this reason that many countries are facing a water scarcity, which means what is available is also not fit for drinking because it is polluted badly, right? We know the kind of pollution, water pollution, the problem of water pollution that we are facing nowadays. So whatever water is available to us, that also we pollute. So obviously it is our duty to see that the water is not contaminated by any means. So students, with this I end this part of the session of geography, chapter number 5, that is water. See you in the part 2. Till then, goodbye and keep learning.